Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! Let's get it on. All right. Let's get started. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sumed Chatterjee. I'm a flow state coach. I'm a consultant. I am a peak performance specialist. So I just want to say that first and foremost. If you're looking for medical advice, consult a therapist. This is not the page for you. But if you're really, truly in that liminal space where you're like transitioning from a downward spiral to an upward spiral, you are on the right channel. So welcome to the Flow Jedis, to the Priest Beasts, to all the supporters for so many years. You know, we're growing as a community. And the more effort you give, the more energy you put into something, the more it'll come back. It might not come back in that very specific moment, but it will come back, okay? So understanding that is one of the primary laws of magic, okay? And I'm also kind of a mystic scientist, if you didn't know by now. Also, I'm wearing this really dope-ass jacket from the movie Drive, if you guys check it out. Yeah. Yeah, I always get comments on this jacket whenever I go out. I was actually out yesterday, yesterday night, you know, socializing, and some people are hella rude, you know what I mean? And some people are just like bubbly and cheerful and acceptable, you know? But I always just feel like a Sigma, you know, walking through these environments, just like, you know, in my own kind of world that I'm generating within. I call it not being the social chameleon, but being the internal chameleon, right? If the environment is all yellow, I'm not trying to merge in and be yellow. I'm gonna keep my frequency alive. Whatever it is that I'm feeling inside, I wanna express that honestly, out into the environment. If that means not talking to anybody, so be it. But I did talk to people, you know, I started to talk to the bouncer. It's interesting because I got in and this person next to me didn't. And I was wondering why. Like, was I just, you know, dressed cooler or whatever? Like, then I'm just starting to get judgmental. So I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like, you know, I got in. I'm gonna just have fun. But it was very interesting, you know? But I knew like I had to walk in with confidence. Like, that's something that I registered. But anyway, this topic, man, of panic attacks. I'm glad you asked me, Bhaskar, because it is a topic that I've struggled with myself. So I can speak to you from person to person, and I have the empathy for what you're experiencing. Okay, so first of all, know that. Knowing that might make you feel a little bit better because, you know, hey, I overcame this thing, this anxiety thing, using the techniques that I learned. You know, CBT can only get you so far. Medication can only get you so far. There are other little modalities and things that you can do to truly tackle this thing. Okay, some people have reported, oh, I downloaded the Dare app, right? And then I just cured my anxiety through that. So everyone has their own kind of mechanism, but this is just my way, right? So it's not the only way for you, but this is what's worked for me. I remember, man, I used to have these severe panic attacks back in the day, and I don't like to call them that. That's the thing. I changed my wording for it when I started to notice that panic attacks, the word itself, includes panic, and so of course it's going to induce panic. Okay, so I started calling it wake-up calls from the body. Because I knew that when I was going through this experience, suffocation, hollow feeling in the chest, like caving in, you know, just a feeling of my heart beating rapidly, sweaty palms, you know, kind of shaking sometimes. That feeling, whenever I got that feeling, it was like my soul was trying to express itself, but it's like it's trying to go out of the body in a sense, almost, right? And your body can't handle that, so it's freaking out. That's what it kind of feels like, okay? Like a panic attack. If you've ever had one, you know how terrifying it is, right? And so first of all, I want to just say, that if you are mentally unsteady, or if you have issues with your mental health, you're not a weak person, okay? You're actually a strong person, okay? Because you're able to do this, because you're able to go through it and be a survivor and move forward, right? And, you know, get this thing handled and solved. So where did my journey with panic attacks start? So before that, I actually wrote something down, like some bars for you. As you guys know, I'm a freestyle shaman, which means I freestyle rap as well. But also my shamanism is very improvisational. So for my rituals, when I light a candle, and you know, I light incense, and you know, for the specific deity, I will have different either foods or fruits, because they want to experience this human experience, right? They're kind of non-physical, so they don't get that, you know. But the more effort, the more energy you put behind a ritual, the more energy is gonna come back to you, okay, in a sense. But yeah, let me get started. Here's some bars I wrote. I was actually freestyling a little while ago, so then I just started writing. But I guess this is kind of on theme or on topic, so I wanted to share this with you. I'm in my head again, highly intelligent. Ganesha proud of me. Strength of an elephant, mental propeller shit. I got the leverage. Slow down and settle it. Focus and slow your breath. Man, I'm the alchemist. Know that I got to win. Sweeter than saccharin. My sweat is strongest of chakras. Indian makara. Honey rhinoceros. Plus I'm a naga, but she checked my boxer shorts. Then I go past the torch. Then I go through the door. I took a portal, man. Where my soul needs to charge. I got up on the bed. My feet fully apart. Faster beats in my heart. Go to the minute bar. Then to my bed I'm going. Elephant in the room. Guess what I'm hearing, dude? I need a miracle. All right? I hope you guys enjoyed that little, some bars for you. And yeah, let's get started on this topic. So for panic attacks, what I generally advise is, first of all, have a different word for it. Like, create your own word. You don't have to choose wake-up calls from the body, because that was just something that I used myself. If that helps you, go for it. But start calling them something else so that you have power over it, if that makes sense, right? Because your words create your world, okay? We already established this. So how I got into these panic attacks, man, I was in a relationship that would trigger it, okay? I would have a lot of moments of panic and stress, like overwhelm in my mind. And I was a deep thinker, right? So I could get very caught up in the overthinking, and that would cause the attack to happen, in a sense, where I think of the worst possible scenario, right? When you're having a panic attack, it's like, I could die, I could, something's gonna end, I'm gonna lose something or someone or some situation. And yeah, so my one, and yeah, it was cool that my ex was supportive for a little bit, because we like, she'd be up on the bed and like help me breathe. I remember certain moments, but also it would just like, I would get even more insecure, because it's like, I was in the mentality of like, I'm a man, like I'm supposed to protect, provide, and survive, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's being tested, your character's being tested as you're going through this attack, right, as well. So it's like, this is like this double anxiety that comes from that, right? And feeling like you're not man enough or something like this, right? So that I definitely felt that, shock to the system first and foremost. But then I started to notice, I've always been like a mouth breather a lot of my life, okay? I never really deeply breathed through my nostrils very well. I'd get sinus clogged, nose stuffiness a lot, decongesting stuff. I also had a lot of asthma when I was a child. And then I would start to notice that would affect my confidence. right? And so the anxiety that I was really feeling is just a preparedness, like your body's telling you to do something in that moment, right? Because it's going into a very sympathetic state, and you want to relax it, okay? You want to understand what's really going on underneath the hood. Like, we don't have to get into the science of the, acetylcholine and GABA and all this kind of stuff. There's many scientific videos out there, man, but I want to give you something practical that has worked for me. Okay, so first of all, change your breathing. That's the most important thing. First and foremost is just breathe deeper from your belly. Box breathing is very good. So 5-second inhale, 5-second hold, 5-second exhale, 5-second hold. And it can be any amount of seconds, I guess, up to 10 or and so forth. But yeah, choose a number and then just stick to it, okay? I would say this helped me kind of create like training wheels for this thing. As I was going through the panic attack, I would consciously slow down my breath and make it deeper, okay? And eventually I learned a lot of strategies along the way on how to handle this. If you want to get more in depth about this, obviously, set up a session with me, one-to-one, and then, we can start talking more, in depth about the certain issues, because there might be little nuances and like different issues that might be affecting it too, right? Like your lifestyle, your your relationships, your different, if you're using any substances that might affect it or amp it up, right? So these kinds of things, I learned to love this feeling, and of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, like, instead of resisting it, I became excited. Like, there's something new about to emerge. This is a new, like, upgrade of the spacesuit. I look like I have a spacesuit on, actually. It's like, and these are like the, day 139, those reports in space or whatever. So, I would have these experiences where it's like my whole psychology was shutting down. It's like my consciousness was just going, right? And that's what happens in a panic attack. You kind of get these horse blinders, right? You're just kind of in your own space, like you're right here. You're not really looking out and experiencing the world, right? You're going into me. And what you need to do in that moment when you're going into you and experiencing this ego death, which is so terrifying, is that you want to shift the attention into something else, okay? Into the environment. What am I seeing? What am I hearing, right? And that's just basic mindfulness, right? What am I hearing? What am I seeing? What am I touching? What am I tasting, right? This is cool, man. Yesterday, Shrinjan, I think, right? That's his name. He's like a 14-year-old kid, and he's a brother. Shout out to Spondon too. He'll be mad that I didn't mention him. He mentioned Shrinjan, but basically, he was saying to me, he was like, "Hey, mindfulness is pretty easy. It's like it's cool, and it was cool to know that the 14-year-old kid is interested in mindfulness and flow state and stuff, because he was asking me questions about flow." But yeah, anyway, back to the topic at hand. So these attacks, right? The moment they're me, it's gonna attack you. The moment you can make it about something greater, if you can, you don't have to necessarily pray to God, right? In prayers, you can't be like, I hope that these people find. That's not a prayer, bro. A prayer is like, dear Lord and Creator, please hear me, for I'm here to co-create with you. Okay? It's not like the universe is not going to give you handouts. Okay, brother? It's not going to give you handouts. The universe is going to support you. Okay? The universe is going to support you, but you got to trust in it. You've got to support it. I remember once in one of my panic attacks, I called one of my friends, Brian Henry, and he told me, just go back to oneness, brother. Okay, he has a very calming voice as well. So he's like, bro, you just have to go back to oneness. Okay? And when that happened, it really started to click for me. I started to feel much more integrated and connected to the universe rather than separate from it. You get what I'm saying? And so I started to understand the power of being the type of person who can handle this and be able to continue on this trajectory, and creating the character for someone who could handle something like this, right? And that's what I did. So there's this term that I first learned from Wim Hof. Okay, Wim Hof, if you aren't sure, he's the Iceman, right? He can breathe underwater, not breathe underwater, but breathe in ice and use his breath work to keep himself sane as he's doing that, right? And I've done cold plunges and I understand that. So when you're in the cold water, right, you're not thinking of anything else. You're not thinking of your panic or your stress or you're just, it's just a moment of consciousness, like forced consciousness, right? Forced mindfulness is the term that he used. And I think it's a beautiful understanding because I've adopted this understanding and used it to cure myself, not cure myself, but kind of use it as a remedy for my wake-up calls from the body. And the moment I've noticed that, okay, I can squeeze an ice cube in my hands, right? Squeeze it really tight the moment I feel that panic rising up. I will just be focusing on the ice and I'll slowly start to calm myself down because, this is more intense of a feeling than the feeling of, feeling like everything is trapped and like this coming in, right? Or splashing water, cold water on my face. Or just, feeling the warmth from your tea, okay? Or eating something spicy or sour, okay? Or after the shower, a cold shower, you just rub your body using the towel, right? These kinds of different mechanisms I'm giving you are very special, okay? And they might be used by certain mental health experts, that, for instance, if you have a band here and you snap it whenever you get urges, for instance, it just reminds you, it gives you that negative reinforcement, right? So I collect these techniques like they're Pokemon, brother. You get what I'm saying? I collect these mental health tools to not only protect myself, but protect my tribe, but protect the clients and the patients or the Padawans, right, that come to me. Because I care about you guys. I want to see you win. You get that? I want to see you win. Really win. Really crush it in life. No more does it have to be this hopeless or empty place where you feel trapped by your existence on this prison planet, which is really messed up. This is like Stranger Things. This is the underground or whatever they call it, right? This is it. So you've got to be the light that shines and casts a shadow. Explore your shadows, Start to understand what are the triggers that are creating the panic attack. Maybe a trauma happened years ago that you can't even figure out. And then later on you have this kind of, PTSD type of symptom, right? Where, even just a little sound can freak you out, right? Or just a symbol can scare you, right? Because it's all connected to your subconscious, right? And so as I started to learn more about this, I just started to gain more power over these panic attacks, bro. And I remember I was really scared at one point. Um, like, you know, we're going through a really bad breakup, like kind of episode, and you can tell it's a toxic relationship when you've like kind of gone through many breakups and then like kind of patched them up and then broken up again and then kind of you know you've had that moment in relationships where it's kind of like, you know, patched up again and then it's going on. But yeah, I felt this kind of codependence or attachment, and it was scary, man. It was really scary letting go as well. But I know it was for my own good that that relationship had to end. I'm just gonna say that. So, because I wouldn't have found the freedom that I do now, and you know, as I'm just living my life, you know, dating multiple women, doing it my way, you know, in this community and tribe worldwide, international mastermind council worldwide, and you know, we are here to be the trailblazers who speak on this topic. So it's not really a panic attack, it's a chronic attack. Okay, you're overwhelmed with too much mental energy. And it feels like it's gonna crash. The system's gonna crash. But the system is just going through an upgrade, a cleanup. Right? It's like that feeling of being, suddenly you're frozen, you're stuck, you don't know what to do. It's like that hit of panic. But start to fall in love with the unknown. Okay? Start to fall in love with it. The unknown is not a bad thing. It can be good too. Okay, and I'm not saying panic attacks are good. Bro, they suck. They're terrible. But at the same time, if your mentality doesn't support you handling it, it's going to keep happening. And, you know, you could deny that it happens or ignore a bunch of times that it happens. Like, oh, yeah, that's a fluke. Right? You can bypass it too, but then it keeps happening, bro. Right? But if you accept it, if you're like, hey, I'm going to deal with this thing. Like, I remember I used to take medication, right? Alprazolam or Xanax, some of you know. Right? Like, I used to take that for a while, only when my panic attacks got really, really extreme, right? And my parents are both doctors, so, you know, I could easily get it if I wanted it. And the thing about it is, it never really truly stopped the problem, in a sense. It was only when I started going into my own mind and I understood the ideas around CBT, of my thoughts create my actions, which create my thoughts again. Right? Your thoughts create your emotions create your actions create your thoughts. This is the loop that keeps happening. And it's very difficult to change your actions and emotions, but what you can do is change your thoughts. And from changing the thoughts, you control the entire cycle again. And the wheels start spinning in a positive momentum upwards rather than down. Okay? So you want to really, really establish a proper framework for dealing with this thing when you do get these panic attacks. One could be to like call a very level-headed and calm friend who tells you to breathe and helps you breathe through it. Okay? If anybody's struggling with a panic attack, please send them to this video, first and foremost, and start to understand this exercise. So inhale all the way to the top of the third eye and hold. And exhale. That's one repetition. Okay? So we're going to do 5 until the panic starts to settle down. Hold it. And letting it out. Why are we using a sound? We're using a sound because you're hearing the fact that you're letting something go. It has a doubling effect, okay? Let's try it again. Hold. Relax your face, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Relax everything. Good. Let's do 2 more. Hold. Yeah, you got this. 1 more. You got this. Hold. Squeeze at the top of your third eye. And exhale. Wiggle your toes. Go from one foot to the other. Tap your foot to some kind of beat music. Good. And now you're nice and grounded. Rudrakshmalas ground me. There's a lot of grounding techniques that you can use for panic attacks, okay? Just going out into nature, lying down on the grass and just looking up, you know, closing your eyes if you're in the sun or, you know. On a nice day is an amazing way to deal with a panic. But we all don't have access to that, like if you're living in a big city or something like this, right? So just at home, make it comfortable for you, okay? You know, when you alter your consciousness using psychedelics, what do they say? Set and setting, right? Your set and setting might be unsupportive to you and creating more anxiety for you, actually. Okay, so you got to make yourself feel at home in those moments and really support yourself during that process, man. Nobody else is going to support you, you know, in that moment. You have to support you. You have to literally be like, listen, man, whatever is in this meat suit, I'm going to figure it out because I am awareness. Okay, and really speak to yourself like this and command yourself to change. You got this. I believe in you. I've done it. That's why I know it's going to be an amazing journey for you to discover new aspects of yourself. As you become less and less anxious, you'll become more and more confident. Just try power posing in the mornings. Okay? These are things I tell all my high-end clients, and I'm just revealing it here on a video, okay? I'm not attached to this information. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm really here to help. And if you're donating to me, sending me money, whatever, that's cool. I'll live. But the service, it's heart-centered, and you can feel it. Right? You can feel it. Giving without expectation is a blessing. It's a blessing to me. It truly is. And I hope this sparks something within you, that you finally get this handled. Try out different techniques. I mentioned about a lot of them, right? So forced mindfulness, the deep breathing, the, you know, ecstatic dance can be another practice that you use to kind of ground yourself. Bioenergetics I've found is very, very useful. So there's a lot of pathways that you can do it, right? It's just what do you want to do with it? How do you want to make it great? Okay? Because if you copy someone else, like if you copy Tony Robbins and how he's doing it, you know, it's not going to be you. And you know that. So your toolkit of anxiety is going to be different from mine. And that's exciting, bro. That's exciting because you have your unique life experiences, right? That you can draw from and pull from, and think about how many people you can help. If you're only getting a little bit of panic attacks and someone else is getting like major panic attacks, you can help those people, right? You're just a little bit further along than them on the journey. So think about how many people you can help, right? How many hearts you can touch with this kind of beautiful information that transcends and transforms and causes a ripple effect across the planet. And yet, hey, I might be out here in Kolkata right now, but there's someone out in Germany showing love. There's someone out in Vancouver showing love. Okay, all you people from all different parts of the world, this is what connects us. This is what builds tribe, this YouTube community. Is this trust in each other and trusting in the mission, which is to go from fear to flow. Flow state is the gateway to higher consciousness, and that's going to be my next video. I know someone asked how do I raise my consciousness? No video really truly talks about it, you know. Oh yeah, just eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables. Yeah, isn't that what my parents have been saying this whole time, right? Like eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables and like breathe deeper and like, you know, laugh a little bit more. Like, bro, that's basic information. We all know that, right? This person wants to get into Ultra Instinct, okay? that's his true intention. So let's help the guy out, you know? But in any case, I'm glad you brought up that question, because it brought me back to my, you know, my past memories a little bit with these attacks, and you know, they were interesting, man. I would get them quite commonly, like it was frequent, and I tried to hide it. I tried to, you know, sway past them, but it just wasn't good for me, man. I got to a point where I was just like, I need to figure this out on my own. Okay? I need to really figure this out on my own. I have got me. I use binaural technology, as I tell you guys all the time. Go to Quadable Integrity. It's Quadible, Integrity. Okay? Listen to the depression anxiety sound from there. It's phenomenal. It's helped me like actually reduce my own internal suffering when I'm going through something that dark. Okay? So yeah, man, music is sound. Sound is healing. Sound is vibration. I highly recommend everyone to do this. What I channeled Horace a day ago, and like 2 days ago, and he told me to basically start my day with a sound. The sound of the singing bell, or a gong of some sort, or a drum, like a shamanic drum, or some kind of a sound, right? And that sets the vibration or the frequency for you of the day. I think this stuff is powerful, man. I think it's incredible. Anyway, way too long video for just that, but you know, if you stayed this whole time, thank you. Appreciate you. I know some of you just like play this probably like, or just use the audio and just kind of, you know, walk the park or something with this on, which is kind of cool. I'm just thinking about that. I would do that if I were not me and I saw me on YouTube. Interesting. Take care, brothers and sisters. Let's go. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. Priestess beauties, priest beasts, you already know the deal. Let's go. Boom.